If you've ever been around the internet since like the early 2010s and mid 2010s, you probably remember something absolutely mystical called CSGO b-hopping and surfing. It used to be in a lot of early B-roll footage when it came to like commentary channels. Hell, I essentially do the same thing with my videos, just not b-hopping and surfing. It's probably because of the fact that I used to watch so many of those commentary channels as a kid, but side tangent aside, surfing and b-hopping was a pretty popular and entertaining thing at one point. However, it is not as popular as it used to be. Mainly, I'm pretty sure it's because of CS2, but it's not completely dead and has still made waves in the gaming community in a variety of ways when it comes to anything Source, such as Half-Life and even other games and stuff like that. However, there is one game that I think has captured the feeling of CSGO, surfing and b-hopping pretty well, almost perfectly, while making it like this entirely new and unique and euphoric experience almost, and it's called The Local. The Local is a game on Steam that is relatively new, and I've been absolutely hooked on it since day one, honestly. I don't play it a ton every day, but I love it, and I just really want to talk about what I think makes it such an awesome hidden gem in the like movement genre of gaming, and why I think The Local is a great game and you should probably check it out too. So let's just really quickly set some like ground stuff really quick, I guess. What is The Local? Well, it's pretty simple. The Local is a free movement-based game that is heavily inspired by CSGO, surf and b-hopping, and a little bit of movement shooter and a roguelike stuff, but we'll get into those two bits later. The game is divided into 4 different game modes, and well, technically 5 if you include multiplayer, but I haven't done much of that, so actually I will not be touching on the multiplayer at all. But I bet it's extremely fun with friends and stuff like that, but just know I won't be covering that, nor will I be covering the paid game mode. But you know, the 3 game modes that come with the game for free that are not multiplayer are extremely fun and amazing in their own unique way. However, to understand the actual game, you're probably going to need to understand the movement, which is the main thing about the game. I mean, it's a movement-based game. So I'm probably going to dedicate an entire section to it right now. Alright, so the movement is split up into different kinds of tech and mechanics. If you don't know what tech is, it's technique, I guess, and you know, if you played any kind of game, you've probably heard tech at some point. The most notable one that probably stands out to you visually right now on the B-roll are the rails. The rails are how you will be primarily traversing the map. When you get on a rail, you will go at a flat speed, and when going down a rail, you can gain speed, and when you go up one, you will lose speed. If you jump, you can basically fling yourself off the rail and save your momentum onto another rail, and sometimes you can gain momentum through falling, but whatever. Yeah, you can keep momentum through the rails, and so you just keep going and faster and faster and faster. Rails are all over the map, and I will be talking about how they're placed later, but there is also a different kind of rail, one that will give you ludicrous amounts of speed no matter the direction you're going. And it's basically these ones. You can see them here. You just, even if you're going down them or up them, you gain insane amounts of speed. I call them accelerators. I don't know what they're actually called. So yeah. Now, you might be wondering, how do you gain even more speed on rails? Well, it's pretty simple. Sliding. Sliding on rails that are going downwards gives you a ton of speed, more than before, so you're going to want to do that wherever you go. However, you can also slide on land, and the same idea applies. You go downhill on land, you gain speed. Wow, who would have guessed? However, it's quite interesting as you can preserve a little bit of speed when going up small hills sometimes, and it is kind of helpful for racing, which I'll talk about later. Now, okay, let's say you jump off a rail. Now it's time for one of the most important types of tech that is used in a lot of games, strafing. Strafing, in CSGO terms, is not holding W and using A and D to go forward and preserve your movement while in the air. Now in this game it's different. You actually do have to hold W, and that's probably just because, I don't know, but you do hold W in this one compared to normal CSGO. Now if you go A, you want to turn left and then you gain that speed. If you hold D, you go right and then you go and you gain speed that way. If you go A D, you gain speed and you go straight mostly. You get the idea. You already probably get the idea. You've seen me doing enough on screen. Another important tech is b-hopping. Now in this game, it's pretty nice because you can just hold down the spacebar, or hell, if you're a freaking insane masochist that played a ton of Half-Life, you can actually use M-wheel down that is actually programmed into the game by default. This isn't something you need to set manually like in actual Half-Life. And you press space and it'll just let you jump repeatedly. Normally in games you have to actually time the b-hop very well. This is why mouse wheel down was used in Half-Life, because you had to essentially like jump but not hit the ground. I don't know how to put it, but yeah. B-hopping allows you to gain speed, assuming you're starting at 0. The thing is that if you're strafing and then you land on the ground, b-hopping can only get you so fast. I think it's about 70 game units of speed or whatever, so yeah. It mainly helps you just preserve a little bit of speed when transferring from rail to rail that is like across, I guess, or in some weird way. So yeah. And then lastly, last tech, sorry, is quick falling. Quick falling allows you to fall faster vertically at the cost of lateral distance. However, you gain ludicrous amounts of speed, and also you're able to micro adjust your landing for certain jumps. And if you're really good, if you're really good at strafing, like I'm talking top 10 players of this game, you can actually go just as far as if you weren't quick falling, when quick falling would normally get you like half as far, I guess. I don't know how to talk about it. It's insanely difficult, I can say, because I've tried many times to try and perfect like the perfect strafe line. So yeah, but that's all of the tech for the game, and that applies to the game. So now let's finally move on to the game itself. Let's start with the easiest game mode, Zen. Zen is basically the equivalent of a playground and lets you do basically whatever the hell you want. You can toggle things from other game modes, which I'll touch upon later, and I think it's honestly just a good time to really talk about map design, because there's not really anything gameplay-wise that's special here. It's just an open world. I think if you look at the map, honestly, it is messy when you look at it, but it is honestly artistic in the way it's made. To the untrained eye, it might look like abstract art, like a Jackson Pollock painting. But just like Jackson Pollock's art, everything is perfectly where it needs to be. Everything is actually perfectly intentional. There's a famous story where an art critic once said that he just put shit all over a canvas and just was mindlessly splattering mindlessly splattering paint on the canvas. He told him that Jackson Pollock told him that he actually put everything exactly where it needed to be and threw his paintbrush across the room onto the canvas, hitting a very specific point that was important, just showing that he knew every part of his canvas because every part was meaningful. It was something like that, and I'm gonna be honest, this story is probably bullshit. There's no way he did that, but you know, the same thing can be said about the game's map. Everything is placed just where it needs to be, and again, while you're looking at it, it might look like a mess. When you play it, everything just flows perfectly. I mean, it flows amazingly with the gameplay, with the movement. It just flowing from rail to rail just feels so good. Going from rails to even walls, because you can wall run in this game, but it's not really anything crazy. You know, it's just really good. Hell, it's so smooth, in fact, that you don't really realize it until you need to write a video. Huh. Well, regardless, I just love how the map is designed, and it's so much fun to ride the rails in every part. Just play the game for yourself, really, to experience that aspect of it. Not to mention the verticality and stuff is also so much fun to play with. Anyways, enough about the artistic beauty of this map, let's talk about the time trials. So you remember all that stuff about the tech and the movement and all blah 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 blah. Well, I think time trials is the best way to actually see how awesome the tech is in the local when you put it all together in one. Now, there are two types of time trials. I call them the aim trainers and the hauling ass courses, I guess. I don't know. Hauling ass trials are pretty simple. Get to the goal or goals. There can be one goal or many. Sometimes the goal changes as you get to it, so it's like checkpoints in like a racing game. Each haul ass time trial, though, is crafted in such a fun way with how it plays with the map's design, which I just praised earlier. The way in which these trials are made are actually really well designed with the player experience too. You don't need to know any of the crazy advanced tech that I've been showing probably in this video by both people who are like top tier and just me. Even as a beginner, you can still have fun trying to beat your own personal times. And with the way this game is, you can take so many different routes for a single time trial as well. This opens up so many possibilities for the player, just giving them like, it's not one set path like Surf from CSGO. It's more like, kind of go wherever you want. Just take whatever route you feel like. It really just lets your instincts take over. I guess that's one way of putting it. And okay, I will say this. There's definitely a sweaty freaking optimal way. If you want to freaking beat top 10 or get on the leaderboard, yeah, just take the freaking way that the top player took or one of the top players took. And I mean, sure, you can follow those, but I feel like it partially gets rid of the fun part of the game. If you're playing casually, if you're playing like a sweat, yeah, it can be pretty fun to follow it too. I do like the replay system. It's actually very helpful. I won't talk on it much though, but whatever. I just really love how the open world nature of the game plays with these time trials, the haul ass time trials. It's like the game gives you your paintbrush, tells you to get from the bottom to the top, and you can take whatever route you want. Lot of art references, I know, but whatever. Anyways, there's also another type called aim trainer trials, and these ones require you to use this little finger gun to shoot down balloons, and every balloon, once it's gone, you win. This one is also very open in how you approach each task at hand, but it's almost like, you know, it's a little harder, I would say. I really suck at these freaking aim trainer ones. I always prefer the haul ass type ones, because like I just miss so goddamn much. It's really sad.
Me bomba!
Anyways, that's enough about the time trials. Let's talk about the really fun, creative, innovative, like freaking roguelike mode, the Amazon delivery at 11:59 p.m. mode. So this is called the order mode, or I call it delivery mode, and it is by far one of the most like addictive game modes out there, alongside the time trials, which is also very addictive. This is probably one of the most addictive types of game modes I've seen for a movement game compared to, like, you know, talking about games like Cluster Truck and things like that. So let me explain it like this. Your goal is to make as much money as possible. To do so, you need to make deliveries. Each person you deliver to will be on the map at a random location and will request some kind of resource or resources. So yeah, there are a bunch of different resources around the map, such as gold, water, batteries, and things like that, and they all come in different amounts and blah 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 blah. To acquire these resources, you need credits. You can locate the different credits thing, like pylons, I guess you can call them, with your phone on your hand, and it'll basically point you to the closest one. And you can also locate resources with the scan button, which I think is like F, if I remember correctly. I'm literally blanking now, but it's F. And so different resources require you to pay different amounts of credits, and they're also worth different things, so they'll pay more for them sometimes too. Anyways, once you get the resources you need, and mind you, you can only hold 10 credits, so you're going to have to, with larger deliveries, you tend to have to go back and forth between pylon gathering and resource gathering, which is really fun. So once you finally get all your resources, you go to the little person that you need to deliver to, and you get money. Now, the faster you did your delivery and the more expensive stuff, I guess, that you had to get, the more credit-worthy stuff that you had to get, the more money you get. And with your money, you can purchase a bunch of upgrades that let you take, like, less fall damage, get money passively, and so on. There are a lot of different upgrades. Now, here's the thing. There is one big challenge in this mode, and it's whatever the generic antagonizing force is, and they really don't like what you're doing, and will try to blow you up with these like crazy hover tanks that shoot missiles, or like Middle Eastern drone strikes or something. And these can be countered by either, with the hover tanks, shooting the missiles that shoot, or dodging the missiles, which feels so goddamn good. Like, look at this. Or just hauling your ass out of the drone strike area if it's like the giant one that says warning. And as you continue the game, this like percentage thing will slowly rise. And this is essentially like a star system from GTA. The bigger the number, the more threats will try and attack you. And I'm gonna be honest, even with a bunch of upgrades, it's pretty hard to deal with, as you have to think about your deliveries and also not getting blown to pieces. Eventually, you will die, and whether it be fall damage or getting blown up or getting hit by like a stupid firewall thing, you know, it's tough, but you always can play again, and I think that's what makes this so much fun, because it's so goddamn replayable, and it incorporates the hauling ass and aim trainer aspects that I was talking about earlier, and it is just so replayable as a roguelike, because it is a truly skill-based one. There's no luck really involved, I guess. You could argue, oh, you know, I got this one earlier, I got this delivery early, giving me a little bit of money at the start, whatever. So yeah, I mean, you could say it's luck, but it's all entirely skill, and I think that's what makes it so great. And if you get a really good high score too, you unlock this one where you only have 15 minutes to do orders, and I think it's pretty cool too. Overall, every game mode is just completely solid in their own unique way, and I just love every part of it. Alright, so the last thing I really want to touch upon, I shouldn't say the next, is the style and music of this game, because honestly, it's so unique and wonderful. The artistic style of this game is honestly one of the most unique styles I've seen, and I find it kind of hard to explain. It has this unique cartoonish style as it outlines everything, kind of like Borderlands in a way, and everything just is hard to like describe. The landscaping feels surreal, but very natural at the same time too, with the different biomes and things like that. Structures are like pixelized, I guess, or like voxel based, and just everything feels so unique. And like the hand and the phone are drawn in this more cartoonish 2D way that makes it just looks, everything is so unique. How even the menu looks really cool, and I love how the menu is designed. When's the time that you can say that about a game? You know, I just like how the menu's going. Okay, there are a few games that you could really say that about, but you get the idea. When a menu has a good game, when a game has a good menu, you can honestly tell it's gonna be a good one. So yeah, and the last thing I really want to talk about though, the music in this game is just absolutely amazing. Almost every song in this game is an absolute banger. When I was talking about the flow of the map earlier and all that, Jackson Pollock painting, blah 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 blah, like I think there is just something that pushes the flow even more, and it's just the music. Some songs got this housey vibe, funky synth vibe, so on, whatever. I'll show you a few of the songs in the menu screen, and it's so good. I honestly think the worst part about the music is that I don't know where it's from. I can't find it anywhere. I've checked the credits, YouTube, I checked the community hub, I haven't checked their Discord, but I have tried to look everywhere for the music because I think it rocks and I just can't find it. I did see that they credited someone, but I don't think it really was that big of a help, so yeah. But I think the music really does just make you flow better. It's like Eurobeat with driving, and it's just honestly a bop. That's all I really have to say about this game. I did skip over multiplayer as I mentioned earlier, which is also extremely fun, but I've never really tried it myself. But I think, I bet actually I should say, it's an absolute blast. Overall, I think you should just check this game out. It's free, it's fun, and no matter how good you are at surfing or b-hopping, you will probably enjoy this game to some degree, whether it be exploring, racing, or the friggin' Amazon deliveries. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time with either a game or some morbidly dark topic.